Imagine a world where everything is about to begin. The first sunrise, the first breath of life, and the first big mistake that changes everything. This is the story of Adam and Eve, where every choice shapes the world we all share today. Creation of the world. In the beginning, there was nothing but a vast, empty space, silent and dark. Then, something amazing happened. A powerful voice spoke out of nowhere. This voice belonged to God, and as he spoke, everything started to change. Day one, God spoke, "Let there be light," and instantly, light shattered the darkness, bathing the void in brilliance. This light, called day, retreated at regular intervals, allowing night to envelope the space in calm darkness. Thus marked the completion of the first day, a universe that knew now both light and shadow. On the second day, God spoke again, "Make a big space in the water. Put a huge sky above. This sky keeps the top water separate from the bottom water. Then, let the sky hold the top water, and let the bottom water touch the new land." On the third day, there was a new instruction from God. The water under the sky was told to come together in one spot, and when it did, dry land appeared. It was strong and inviting. This land was named Earth, and the gathered water became the seas. As soon as the land appeared, it was covered in green. God said, "Let plants grow," and suddenly the land was full of plants and trees with fruits and seeds. Everywhere you looked, there was a life and color, ready for what was to come. On the fourth day, God looked at the big sky. He put the sun there to shine brightly during the day, and the moon to give light at night. He also filled the sky with lots of stars that sparkled like jewels. These things, in the sky, were meant to help us know the seasons, days, and years. They light up the world below and help it stay in rhythm. On the fifth day, God commanded life to appear in the water and the sky. Huge whales and many other sea creatures started swimming in the deep oceans. Meanwhile, birds flew up into the sky, their wings moving gracefully. Both the creatures in the sea and in the air were given the ability to have babies, so their populations would grow and fill their worlds. On the sixth day, God created all sorts of land animals, from the tiniest insects to the largest beasts, each designed to roam the diverse landscapes of the world. Then, in this special moment, God formed Adam from the dust or clay of the ground, shaping him with care and precision. After sculpting Adam's body, God breathed life into him, filling him with vitality and consciousness. Adam became a living being, unique in his capacity to think, create, and care for the earth. This is the story of how the first human was created. After God created Adam, he placed him in the Garden of Eden, a paradise abundant with life and beauty. Adam was placed in the Garden of Eden, which according to the biblical account in Genesis, is a special place on earth created by God. Eden is often depicted as a paradise or a heavenly-like place because of its beauty and perfection. But it is important to note that it is not heaven itself, but rather a specific location on earth designed by God to be the ideal living environment for Adam and Eve. In the Garden of Eden, Adam had a unique and special role. One of Adam's first tasks was to name all the animals. This was not just a label-giving exercise, but a demonstration of Adam's authority over the creatures, as well as his understanding of their nature. By naming each animal, Adam established a relationship with them, recognizing each as a unique part of creation. This task also reflected Adam's intelligence and creativity, blessed by God, to classify and organize the living creatures around him. Adam was likely involved in taking care of these animals. This could have included ensuring that their habitats were maintained and that there was a balance in the garden's ecosystem. Adam got along well with the animals. They weren't scared of him yet, so they would have been friendly and comfortable around him before the fall of the sins. Besides caring for the animals, Adam was tasked with tending and keeping the Garden of Eden. Adam worked on growing plants, and keeping the garden looking nice and making sure it grew lots of good things. Gardening in Eden would have been very different from gardening now. There wouldn't have been any hard work or difficulties because those only happened after the fall of the sins. Instead, it would have been a happy thing for Adam to do, helping him take care of his home like he was supposed to. In the Garden of Eden, Adam had the unique privilege of direct communication and fellowship with God. This connection was really important in Adam's life in Eden. It made him feel complete and gave him advice and help. In the garden there was lots of food to eat, like fruit from all different kinds of trees. He was also given the freedom to eat from any tree in the garden, except for the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. This was a clear sign that God took care of Adam by giving him everything he needed to eat. Life in Eden was marked by harmony and balance. Adam's interactions with all elements of creation, animals, plants, and the physical landscape were designed to be enriching and sustainable. As Adam went about his duties, naming the animals and overseeing the paradise, it became evident to God that Adam was alone in a way that the animals were not. Despite the perfection of Eden and the companionship of the animals, there was no suitable helper or companion for Adam among them. The animals were splendid and diverse, each a masterpiece, but none were his equal. None could share in the human experiences of thought, creativity, and relationship on the level that Adam was designed to engage with. Creation of Eve. Seeing Adam's situation, God decided to create a helper suitable for Adam, one who would truly complement him. To do this, God caused Adam to fall into a deep sleep. While Adam slept, God took one of his ribs, and from this rib, he fashioned Eve. This method of creation was deeply symbolic, signifying that Eve was not only a part of Adam but his equal, bone of his bones and flesh of his flesh. She was made from Adam's side, illustrating that she was to be by his side as his partner. When Adam awoke and saw Eve for the first time, he recognized her as part of himself and exclaimed, "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, for she was taken out of man." This partnership was meant to reflect the relational aspect of God's character, showcasing collaboration, love, and mutual support. This relationship was marked by unity and lack of shame. Genesis mentions that they were both naked and felt no shame, indicating a level of innocence and transparency in their relationship. Life of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. In the Garden of Eden, Eve helped Adam take care of everything, making sure it stayed beautiful and full of good things. She liked working in the garden without it being too hard. Eve enjoyed being around all the plants and animals in the nice surroundings. She and Adam would explore different parts of the garden, finding new things to see. They only ate fruits and plants, which gave them everything they needed in the peaceful garden. In the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve talked directly with God, and God would visit them in the garden in the evening. They could see him face to face and talk with him like friends. This close connection with God was really important to them. It gave them advice and love, making their lives feel complete and meaningful. The forbidden fruit. The forbidden fruit is one of the central elements in the story of Adam and Eve in the book of Genesis. The forbidden fruit comes from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, which was located in the middle of the Garden of Eden alongside the tree of life. The Bible does not specify what type of fruit it was. Over the centuries, it has been depicted variously in art and literature, commonly as an apple, but this is not based on the biblical text. This tree was unique because it was the only one in Eden that God explicitly prohibited Adam and Eve from using. The command from God was clear: they could eat from any tree in the garden except for this one. God said, "For when you eat from it, you will certainly die." The tree is special because it gives knowledge about what's right and what's wrong, which people weren't supposed to have at first. If Adam and Eve ate its fruit, they would start understanding these ideas, and it would make them different from before, changing how they saw the world. It symbolizes the boundary God set for humans, a test of obedience and trust in their relationship with Him. The temptation and the fall. One day, Eve was near the tree of knowledge, curious about its fruits that they were told not to eat. A clever serpent came up to her, smarter than any other animal God made. Its voice was as gentle as the river in Eden, and it asked Eve, "Did God really say you can't eat from any tree in the garden?" Eve, engaging in conversation, corrected the serpent. "We may eat fruit from the trees in the garden, but God did say, 'You must not eat fruit from the tree that is in the middle of the garden, and you must not touch it, or you will die.'" "You will not certainly die," the serpent hissed back, a lie wrapped in the guise of truth. "For God knows that when you eat from it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." These seductive and full of promise words light a spark of rebellion in Eve's heart. The fruit looked delicious and desirable for gaining wisdom. Feeling a strong desire, Eve grabbed some fruit and ate it. Then, she gave some to Adam, who was with her, and he ate it too. At that moment, as the juice of the forbidden fruit touched on their lips, their eyes were indeed opened, just as the serpent had promised. But with this new vision came not just knowledge, but also the immediate recognition of their nakedness. They felt really embarrassed between each other, like a dark cloud was over them. Quickly, they sewed fig leaves together to cover themselves. The discovery and the curse. They were scared when they heard God walking in the garden during the afternoon. "Where are you?" God called out to Adam, his voice echoing through the garden. Adam came out, feeling unsure, and said quietly, "I heard you in the garden, and I was scared because I realized I was naked. That's why I hid." God replied, "And who told you that you were naked?" God asked, "Have you eaten from the tree that I commanded you not to eat from?" Adam quickly blamed Eve. "The woman you put here with me, she gave me some fruit from the tree, and I ate it." Then Eve's defense and blame the serpent. "The serpent deceived me, and I ate." They were really afraid, feeling this kind of fear for the first time. God punished the serpent first. It was cursed to crawl on its belly and eat dust forever. Then there would always be conflict between the serpent and Eve, and between their descendants. Eve would have a lot of pain when she had babies, and would have trouble in her relationships with Adam. Adam would have to work really hard to grow food from the ground, which was now cursed because of him. They lost the beautiful and perfect place they lived in called Eden, and had to leave. Before God removed them from the garden, he made garments of skin for Adam and his wife, clothing them just enough for the harsh world outside Eden. Then God sent them out of the garden so they couldn't get to the tree of life, which would let them live forever in their now troubled state. Cherubim and angels that God created, and a sword of fire blocked the path to the tree of life. This meant Adam and Eve had to leave Eden, starting a hard life where they would eventually die. Thus, the eating of the forbidden fruit, a single act of disobedience, forever altered the course of human history. It marked the fall of man, a moment when innocence was lost, and the complex struggle between good and evil began. Life after Eden. After leaving Eden, life was very different for Adam and Eve. They had to deal with problems they never had before. Adam had to work really hard with the ground to grow food, but it didn't produce much without a lot of effort. Eve had painful experiences when she gave birth to their sons, Cain, Abel, and Seth. It was hard, but they still had hope for the future. They felt all kinds of feelings, like happiness when they raised their kids, but also sadness and hopelessness when bad things happened. Adam and Eve's kids had kids, and then those kids had more kids, so the world's population started getting bigger. Each new generation learned things from the one before it, like how to do stuff and how to live together. This helped build the foundation for human society, with people working together in communities. According to traditional Jewish and Christian beliefs, Adam lived for 930 years. Eve's age at death is not recorded in the Bible, but she is traditionally thought to have lived a similarly long life, passing away before Adam. In their final years, Adam and Eve would have reflected on their early days in Eden and the consequences of their choices. These reflections likely became part of their legacy, teachings that underscored the importance of obedience, the harsh reality of sin, and the hope for redemption. What a journey through Adam and Eve's story. From the peaceful gardens of Eden to the tough times outside, their tale teaches us about resilience, choices, and the human spirit. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more. Share your thoughts in the comments. What lessons did you learn from Adam and Eve's story?